Let's cut to the chase, guys. The beta was a weird experience. Not because the game was unplayable or anything like that, but because we weren't even playing the real game, or at least not the most recent version of it. Turns out the build we got our hands on was 6 to 9 months old, nearly a year out of date. That means everything we tested, every bug we ran into, every clunky animation or awkward UI choice, there's a good chance that the developers already fixed it internally. That kind of makes you go, why are we even here? Seriously, isn't the point of a beta test to find bugs, to report performance issues, to give feedback on the current state of the game so the devs can improve it before release? But if we're playing a version that's almost a year behind, then what are we even helping with? The CEO did address this on X. He said they didn't want to use the current build because they needed a version that was bug-free and as stable as possible, which I get, I really do. Launching a beta is a massive technical undertaking, and if you know the latest version has big issues, then maybe you don't want to show it off. But that brings us back to the original point. Isn't that what a beta test is for? Only after the backlash started did they clarify that this closed beta was really for server stressing and validating core gameplay. And okay, sure, that's valid. But it should have been clear from the start. If you're inviting players into your game, setting up NDAs, giving us access, and asking for feedback, then communicate what sort of feedback you want instead of just throwing us into the game as it was, just for people to shit on it. Really bad communication on their part, especially if they want the game to succeed. And now belatedly saying that this beta was meant for something else just makes me think that they're making an excuse because of the backlash, which is very embarrassing. Now let's talk about expectations. You've seen the trailer, gorgeous open world, dynamic combat, epic boss battle, a massive living fantasy universe built in Unreal Engine 5. That was what got me excited. This trailer, this is the game that I wanted to play. But what we got in the beta was not that. Not even close. Instead, we got an older version build with placeholder animations, janky performance, and content that felt half finished. It was like someone invited you to a fine dining experience and served you microwave lasagna that was 9 months old. I mean, sure, maybe the chef can cook a 5-star meal, but that's not what's on your plate right now. So here's the big question. Do I believe they can deliver the game from the trailer? Honestly, not really. The foundation is there. The world looks like it could be fun to explore. The combat might be good when it's polished. Unreal Engine 5 can do amazing things in the right hands. But as of right now, we're not seeing it. What we saw in this beta was a stripped down, outdated version of something that still has a long way to go. I know game development is messy. I know there are milestones and deadlines and builds that get locked down. But if you're going to call it a beta, and especially if you're going to market it to players, let us actually test what's current. Let us see the real progress and actually communicate what you expect from the player base in these tests. Now, we gotta talk about something else that bugged me. The fort. If you played New World, you know what I'm talking about. Some players managed to get past the barrier during the beta, and there's this fort that's a one-to-one copy of a fort from New World. And this is what the players found when they got past the barrier in the beta. So there's the fort that they found. And this is New World. This is part of the fort that they found. This is New World. This is not looking good. Reason why: New World does not use Unreal Engine 5. They use something called Lumberyard, whatever. And it uses different assets and builds compared to Unreal Engine 5. Meaning, the developers had to pull up New World in a separate window, go to the fort, and as they were making the fort in Unreal Engine 5, they literally copied everything one-to-one. All the shops, the walls, the ramparts, the gates, the flag location, everything one-to-one. Which is ridiculous! People say online on Reddit, oh, that's just an average fort. Okay, average fort, sure. Yeah, type in fort. Let's see what we get with forts, okay? This is an average fort. Square thing, small walls, Okay, there's another fort. Star, points, another. What I'm getting at here is they could have Googled fort and came up with any of these. Any of these look amazing, simple, amazing. But no, they had to go and just copy New World for whatever god-awful reason. This isn't even the best looking fort, honestly. They could have done something so much better, but nope. So the question is, why remake it exactly the same? You have a whole fantasy world to design, an infinite creative freedom, and you choose to remake a fort that players are already burned out from in another game. It just feels lazy or, at best, uninspired. And it's not just the fort. Players have pointed out that a lot of the UI design, the inventory system, and even some of the combat animations look a lot like New World. Now, I'm not here to accuse anyone of plagiarism or anything like that, but when your game is already under scrutiny, that kind of similarity is not a good look. It makes people wonder, is this really a new MMO, or is it just New World in a different skin? What makes all of this more frustrating is the lack of clear communication from the devs. If they had said from the start, hey, there's a server stress test using an old build just to make sure our infrastructure is solid, that would have set expectations. Instead, people jumped into this thinking they were playing something close to the final product. And when that turned out not to be the case, it left a bad taste. Ideally, here's what I think should happen from now on, moving forward. Be transparent about the age of the build before launch. Set expectations early. This is for stress testing, not content feedback, or we're now testing a recent build, let's find all the bugs, or we're testing the combat, we're testing everything, let us know. Thirdly, show off the newer build with dev blogs or streams, so we know what's actually being worked on. Be transparent. That way, when players inevitably find bugs and things they don't like, they know whether it's still relevant feedback. So what now? Well, devs have said future beta phases will include newer builds, and that the game has already improved significantly internally. That's great to hear, but they need to prove it. Next time, they need to show us the current state of the game, the real Chrono Odyssey, not some half-ass year-old fossil. And honestly, they need to stop copying other MMOs. Take inspiration, sure, but bring your own flavor, your own identity. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Chrono Odyssey is definitely not the game they showed us in the trailers, at least not yet. I think they need to continue cooking this game for another couple years because it is not ready. But we'll see. We'll see if their newly internal build is up to par with how big they're talking. I mean, it's been like about 9 months now, so maybe it should be, huh? Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.